everyone, thank you for joining me here on this, another episode of Vegan Police TV. This episode is sort of a bit more of a follow-up one from my discussion on cats and dogs about pet ownership, which sort of intertwines with that of about animal sanctuaries. So what are my thoughts on animal sanctuaries? Now, this is a very tricky one, and it's not something that you can give a blanket yes they're good or no they're bad. It's not something that you can give that sort of answer to, because it depends on how the sanctuaries run, what they do, what conditions the animals are kept in, and all that sort of stuff. There's so many variables. Now, we'll take one. What is Edgar's Mission in Victoria, country Victoria? There's, that's probably the biggest one in Australia. I think they're classed as a large charity under the ACNC, which is Australian Charity and Not-for-Profit Commission or something like that. So they're classed as a large charity, which means they have a huge turnover. They've got a large amount of animals and fairly large property. Now, that one, is that something that vegans should be getting behind? Honestly, I don't think so. Because even though they say that they say it's a sanctuary and it's Edgar's Missions and things like that, honestly, nothing. The organisation itself is run no differently to a travelling circus. They take animals to protests in Brisbane City, and I think it's a 45-minute one-way trip from their old location. I'm not sure now how far it is. So, I mean, let's say even if it's an hour. The animals are taken from the farm, so with relatively open spaces, to bundled in a cage to be taken to a city where it's noisy, concrete floors, and all that sort of stuff. I did write a blog post. I can't remember the name of it now. This was way back in 2012, I think it was, about Edgar's Mission, that the way that they use operant conditioning, so they train their animals to respond to clickers and food rewards and things like that. So all they're doing is they're using their animals hopefully for the greater good of other animals. It's no different. There was also the one of the hens from Edgar's Mission was used in the Animals Australia campaign of "That's No Way to Treat a Lady." One of them was used in the clips because went through the training process and trained them to respond to a certain way. So I mean, this is the thing. If this organisation is a sanctuary, why are they treating the animals like this? Why are they wheeling the animals around? Why are they bundling them all up? So let's go here. I've seen these animals, on Facebook, go to nursing homes, go to kids for petting and things like that. So it's no different to a petting zoo, which most vegans are supposedly against. So from that perspective, I wouldn't be supporting that one, Edgar's Mission. I'm not sure about the other ones. There's some that I don't agree with. I don't think that we should be opening up sanctuaries left, right, and centre. Yes, it is. Doing good for the animal. Though the other thing too is that what happens if it gets to a point in time where you're not able to provide for the animals? You can't rely on donations because that's someone giving you money. So unless the sanctuary is self-sustaining before you start, introducing animals, then you run the risk of getting to the point now. We're getting to the point at one time where you've got nothing to feed the animals. So what do you do then? Do you farm the animals? Do you farm the animals out? Do you ship them on to someone else? Do you give them to another sanctuary and increase the burden that sanctuary's got? So how can they be useful? I think that they can be useful when if it's done with a message of veganism and of the way that the use of animals isn't right. It's you're impeaching their rights. It's not something that we should be doing. And there is a sanctuary in northern Brisbane area, sort of northern Brisbane area, that I did spend a lot of time volunteering at, and did do a number of tours with the people that came over open days and spoke to the people about the animals. Now, mentioned in a previous clip, I think that the pigs were my favourite because that was, they seemed to be a bit more interactive, especially once they got to know you. They'd play games and really have good levels of affection towards you and all that sort of stuff. So for me, that was the thing, is that I was relaying the experience that these animals had, and I went through the whole process of explaining that, hey, whatever time it was, that, hey, these animals are living 6, 12 months, 18 months longer than what they would have, because they came from they were destined for slaughter, so it was a pig farm that was going to slaughter them. Went through the process of explaining what all the clips in their ears were for, and how that, because there's that many, there's a large number of animals in these farms, and that this is the way that the farmer identifies them, is not by putting things through their nose like they do with cattle. It's by clips on their ears, so then they can tell, okay, this animal's had this animal's had that, and things like that. So going through that process of that was also explaining that that pigs were so much like humans, that through the pig skins, and that people used to have heart transplants and use pigs' hearts and all that sort of stuff. So when it's presented that way, now I can't say what the organisation is like now, because I haven't been involved with that organisation for a number of years. So I can't say what it's like now. Would I support the organisation now? I don't know. Honestly, I'd have to go out and have a look. I'm a bit concerned that it's being used as more of a I don't really agree with the regular open days, because I think that the animals should be able to live their life there, and if someone wants to come and have a tour, then yeah, maybe an open day once every second month or once every quarter or something like that. Once every month or once every couple of weeks does start getting to the point where it's no different to a zoo. It's because you've got people coming in, you're relying on these people coming in to give you donations and all that. So it's a huge one there. It would be beneficial for those who do consume animal products to actually go and see the pigs in a relatively natural environment, saying, hey, listen, this is how they respond, this is what they do, and things like that, and get someone to actually meet the animals that end up on their plate, and all that sort of stuff, and to dispel that stereotype or that myth or the belief that pigs are dirty. They're not. They won't, like all animals, they won't go where they eat. They keep their things relatively clean. They only sit in mud because they get burnt very easy, same as what humans do. So we put sunscreen on, they put mud on, and all that sort of stuff. So, if the sanctuary is set up right and done right, then yes, it can be a benefit to veganism and to the animal rights perspective, and promoting that way and not exploiting the animals. Whereas if it's done wrong, as I believe Edgar's mission is, and I'm not a supporter of Edgar's mission. I've written and commented about Edgar's mission over the number of years, and all that sort of stuff, because I don't think that we as vegans or animal rights activists should actually be supporting Edgar's mission. It doesn't matter, that she's vegan or Pam's vegan or the people that are vegan and all that sort of stuff. It's what the Edgar's mission does. That's what concerns me from the rights-based perspective. So, as with everything, your mileage may vary. You may have different views on that. They're my views. That's why I won't support the organisation. And it comes back to the other thing is that is having a sanctuary any different to owning a pet or a cat or a dog? I've expressed my views a number of times on that. So what's the difference? I think if the sanctuary is done for education purposes, because you're not going to walk down the street with a 200 or 300 kilo pig and say, yes, this one was rescued. Whereas if you've got a rescued dog, then someone, oh, look at that lovely dog, I might go and buy one of them, and then sort of the message is lost. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those tricky things. I'm not in favour of everyone opening up sanctuaries, because then that just creates another problem, as I said. If sanctuaries are done and combined with quality vegan education and an unequivocal vegan message, then yeah, I believe that they can have their benefits. Obviously, as I said, it just depends on the way which one is set up and how it's run. So anyway, then my thoughts on that one. I thought I'd do that. I'll include a link to an article I wrote a number of years ago. I think it was Let's Talk About Sanctuaries or something like that. It was a follow-up from my Cats and Dogs one. So anyway, thank you for watching. My name's Cameron Blewett. This is another episode of Vegan Police TV. And remember, don't fear the vegan police. We're here to help.